In this video, I'm going to prepare you for your Florida Work Comp deposition just as I do my own clients. This prep doesn't create an attorney-client relationship. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Domenic Celeste, the virtual accident attorney. I'm based in Palm Beach County, Florida, and I represent those injured on the job in workers' compensation and due to the fault of another in personal injury. This channel is all about answering your questions and giving you tips relating to Florida workers' compensation and personal injury law. Now, before we begin, I have to show you this disclaimer, so just hold tight. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Before I begin, I want to remind you that if you've been scheduled for a deposition in your work comp case, you really should hire an attorney to protect you and your rights. Now, usually I spend 30 minutes to an hour with my clients preparing them for their deposition, which includes going over things like what the deposition is, the basics, and the specifics of their case and any issues that exist. Obviously, I can't do that in this video because I don't know you or your case. So this will be a generic bare bones prep of what a deposition is and the basics. If you're interested in knowing what questions might be asked and how to answer the more important ones, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I release that video. Now, let's get you prepped. The scene is you're sitting at home in a quiet place when you get a call from me for our telephone conference. Hey John, all right, so the purpose of this call is to prepare you for your deposition tomorrow. As a reminder, it's that date and time in this address. In today's call, I want to go over what a deposition is, the basics of a deposition, the questions that you'll be asked, and how to tailor your answers in the best way. But first, a deposition is a time and place for the work comp attorney to ask you questions under oath in order to hear your side of the story, what you know, and ultimately, how you might testify in court. Now, they're entitled to take your deposition because there are currently outstanding issues on your case. The first thing to know is that your credibility in a case is very important, and your presentation helps with that. So please make sure that you look presentable. Now, that doesn't mean wear a suit and tie, but you should wear something like you would wear to a nice restaurant or to church. And the reason why is if the work comp attorney finds you presentable now, they can assume that you'll be even more presentable if we ever have to go to court. Now, the people in attendance at your deposition will obviously be me and you, the work comp attorney, who will be asking all the questions, and someone called a court reporter. The court reporter's job is to take everything down that's said at the deposition. She can't take down gestures like head nods or pointing, so it's important for you to verbalize all of your answers. Also, if the question calls for a yes or no, say yes or no instead of uh-huh or uh-uh. A good way to remember this is by imagining that no one can see you. Also, the court reporter can only take down one person speaking at a time, so wait for the attorney to finish asking the question before you answer. This also allows you to fully hear the question before answering. When you're answering, only answer the question being asked of you. For example, and this won't happen, but if you're asked what time it is, don't explain how to make a watch. Also, don't speak unless there's a question posed. Some attorneys will wait a while before asking another question in hopes that the witness will break the awkward silence by starting to talk, so don't do that. Now, there may come a time when you don't know or don't remember an answer. It's perfectly fine to say, I don't know or I don't remember. However, even though I don't want you guessing, if you have an idea of what the answer is, make sure to let them know. For example, you can use phrases like, I'm not exactly sure but, or my best estimate is, or to the best of my recollection, memory, belief. And the reason why using one of these phrases is important is because if it appears that you know the answer, you'll be held to it even if you're wrong. But if you use one of these phrases and you're wrong, they can't hold it against you. Also, unless I tell you to, you don't need to bring any papers to help you answer. You're only required to answer with what you know in your head at the time of the deposition. Now, my role is primarily to take notes and make objections for the record. If you hear me make an objection, stop talking, but in most instances, unless I tell you otherwise, you will still have to answer the question. I usually don't ask questions because I can do that whenever I want, and I'm not here to do the other attorney's job, but if I do, it's usually to try and fix something that came out in the depo. So don't hold it against me if I don't ask you anything. If that's the case, it's because you did a good job. The last thing that you should know is that the deposition may take a few hours. So if you need to take a break, get a glass of water, or use the restroom, just say so and we'll take a break. However, just so you know, During that break, we can't talk at all. Now, do you have any questions for me before we get into what questions you'll be asked? And scene. I hope after watching this video, you're a little more prepared for your deposition. Again, I'd highly recommend that you hire an attorney that's licensed to practice law in Florida and that handles workers' compensation cases, that represents real clients, goes to court, that knows what they're doing. And if you or someone you know were injured on the job or due to the fault of another, give me a call any time of the day or night. I have a 24/7, 365 receptionist, or you can go to my website to fill out an intake and schedule a free consultation, or you know what? You can just text me, 561-935-3822. But that's it for this video. If you got value out of it or if you learned something, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. If you have a question, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and answer it. Like and follow me on all my socials to stay updated. And if you want to learn more about me, my firm, Florida Work Comp, or personal injury law, just go to my website, virtualaccidentattorney.com. Alright, so that's it for now. Again, my name's Domenic Celeste, the virtual accident attorney. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.